Hey guys, Gunslinger here. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick, but I'm gonna do a Rush tier list today. I'm gonna do it, like from um release date, so earliest to latest. Um, I was gonna do like a ranked thing, so we'd put worst album first, and best album last. Um, but I didn't want to do that just for the kind of reason that there aren't any bad albums at all. I don't think even like kind of low points like Test for Echo are not bad. They are amazing albums, but they're just not at the same level as some of the ones later. Um, so let's kind of get into that. Um, first one is Feedback. This is not an album. This is an EP. Um, basically the same thing. This is not really like the other albums. It is it's only cover songs, um, from I think the 60s, maybe 70s, um, maybe even 50s. It's not bad. It doesn't have the same ambition as any of these other albums do, and that's not necessarily bad. It's just not as ambitious as something like Moving Pictures or Hemispheres or 2112. But it's a good album. It has some good covers. I'm gonna give it a C tier. Um, it's not my favorite. But it wasn't. I don't think it was really meant to be this crazy ambitious thing. It was just meant to be kind of a cool um EP in between. I think it was released in between um Vapor Trails and Snakes and Arrows. So, um, next is Snakes and Arrows. This is the one Rush album that I haven't listened to all that much, just because at the time I wasn't that excited, kind of by it. But I'm gonna listen to it again either later tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow because it's kind of late. Didn't mean to put it at F tier. This is gonna be a C tier. It has a couple good songs on it. Um, not the best kind of late career album for Rush. We'll get to those later. But it has a couple cool instrumentals. I think this album has more instrumentals than any other Rush release. Um, something about this just I don't know. It didn't really kind of click for me. Maybe I have to listen to it again and kind of listen to the songs a little better because it was a while ago when I listened to this. But um, not a terrible release, but it's not my favorite. I think tied with Snakes and Arrows is the self-titled debut. This isn't even really a Rush album. It doesn't have Neil, so there's not really much to say about it. Working Man's a pretty solid song. Um, I don't know. I think Take a Friend was pretty good. This kind of, like I said, same level as Snakes and Arrows. I didn't really like this one all that much. Um, but yeah. So from now on, all the albums I'm gonna talk about are amazing. These are absolutely incredible. Um, Snakes and Arrows could very well be good. But I just need to listen to it some more. So maybe I'll make an update later. Self-titled was it was okay, but it wasn't really a Rush album, so I'm just gonna put it at a C tier here. So, um, next I'm gonna have to go with Test for Echo at a B tier. A lot of people put Test for Echo at last because, um, I think sometimes people like to complain about the mix of it or the mixing. Um, a lot of people say it's um kind of it feels kind of tired and not really inspired. It's just kind of a dull album. But I disagree. I think sorry guys, my throat's kind of scratchy. I think Test for Echo and Drive are pretty good. Um I also really liked um I really liked Limbo and Resist. I don't know why. Limbo's kind of weird because it's not necessarily an instrumental, but it doesn't have singing. It just has like kind of I guess you can say kind of like choral vocals in the background. Um, I think Virtuality was also a pretty good one. I just re-listened to this album a few days ago. There were a few songs that I thought were like, you know, not as not too great. Like I don't think Dog Years was that good. There's just something about it that I didn't like. But the rest of the album was really good. Just like Feedback, it wasn't as ambitious as some of the later releases. So Vapor Trails is next. I'm gonna put this at a B tier. This is the remix, so this is the best kind of edition of the album you can listen to, your best mix or version of it. This is kind of Rush trying to get back to being Rush after a fairly long break. This was released in 2002, I think. That is 8 years after. No, not 8. Is it? No. It's 6 years after Test for Echo. I don't know why I thought it was 8 years. That was really dumb. A lot of kind of things happened in between the release of Test for Echo and Vapor Trails. It has some pretty good moments. Title track is pretty good. How It Is probably one of my favorite Rush songs. The Stars Look Down and Ghost Rider are pretty good. Sorry, I'm coughing so fucking much. I'm gonna try to ignore it if I cough from now on. But Freeze was also pretty good. Earth Shine, not bad. This is just I guess it's kind of like, I don't know if this will make sense, but this is sort of a transition album from Test for Echo to Snakes and Arrows and Clockwork Angels, which we'll talk about much later. Let me get that back where it was. It's not bad. The original mix was kind of, the only way to describe it was kind of sludgy, and it had a kind of a gritty feel to it. It sounded like a grunge album, kind of. The one that's on the list is the 2013, I think, remix. Yeah. Which I've only listened to a few songs from the remix. I've listened to the original once or twice. But I've only listened to like How It Is and Vapor Trail from the remix, just because I didn't really I don't know. This album didn't feel too special, except for How It Is. I still listen to that song quite a bit. So yeah, let's move on to the next album. I think I'm gonna have to put Hold Your Fire up next. Now, the thing about Hold Your Fire is it's a really good album. This album is amazing. However, it kind of has the same issues as something like Feedback, where it's not as ambitious as some of the earlier albums. This is an amazing record. I love this record. But what I'll say about it is it feels like, any other kind of 80s rock album from the time. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not as special as some of the early albums like Hemispheres, which I've never heard an album like Hemispheres ever. I mean, it's amazing. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. Of course, it has some kind of really good standout moments like Time Stands Still, Mission, Lock and Key, Turn the Page, Prime Mover, pretty good. But the songs, while they're good, don't feel all that special. They feel like just, kind of rock songs from the 80s. But they're amazing. They're really good. They're just not as ambitious, it's okay. This was fairly late. I think this was the 12th album they released. That's kind of the middle part of their career, maybe a little bit later than that. So yeah, an amazing album, but not too ambitious. Okay, next up is Presto. Again, another great album. I think from Fly By Night to Counterparts, every album released during that time is perfect in its own kind of way. Not every album I can't speak. Holy shit! Not every album is as ambitious as like the early ones, but they're all perfect in a sense. Um, they might not be crazy, but they're kind of in the context of that album. They're all perfect. If that makes any sense. Presto is another one that I just listened to again very recently. And at first, I actually didn't really like Presto, but now I think it's one of their better albums. I liked the title track, Show Don't Tell, Scars, Superconductor, Red Tide, Warpaint, The Pass, Chain Lightning. All those songs were pretty good. I think my favorite was probably Presto or Scars. Superconductor was also pretty good. This was kind of a more rock oriented album. This was their kind of return to rock music. After Hold Your Fire, which was kind of the peak of the synth kind of, I guess, oriented music that started it. I think it would be Grace Under Pressure. This doesn't really have any synthesizers. It's just it's just a rock album, and I like it. For what it is, it's amazing. Next up is Roll the Bones. Roll the Bones feels like Presto, but perfected. All the issues with Presto, which there are very few. The mixing for Presto wasn't that great originally, but I think there were a few remasters, and I don't know if there were necessarily remixes, but there were remasters. But Roll the Bones fixes a lot of those issues. The first 5 tracks are amazing. I think my favorite would have to be probably Dreamline, Bravado, or Roll the Bones. But Where's My Thing is pretty good. The Big Wheel, which is a little bit later, and Heresy are also pretty good. But again, it's kind of like Presto in the sense that it doesn't have any of the synthesizers that they used a lot in the 80s. And I think this was the first album they recorded or released in the 90s. Yeah, it was released in 91. But yeah, a solid album. And yeah, definitely worth checking out. Let's see. Next I would have to put Alright, I'm gonna put Counterparts up next. At an A tier. Now, I'm kind of thinking about putting it at an S tier. I don't know. We'll put it at an A tier for now. So Counterparts, kind of similar to these albums. It was released kind of around the grunge era of music. It has its moments. This is a really good album, but it's not my favorite. I think I like something like Hold Your Fire or Roll the Bones a little bit better. But it's pretty good. Animate is pretty cool. Stick It Out. Nobody's Hero is also pretty good. Alien Shore. My favorite would probably have to be Leave That Thing Alone, which is an instrumental. There's something about the bass line which I just love. I don't know. It's really cool. I'm sure most of you people have seen this. I don't know why I said most of you people. Most of you guys have probably seen this. But Leave That Thing Alone live in, I think, 2011 for the Time Machine Tour was amazing. It had one of Geddy Lee's only bass solos, and I mean, it was incredible. It was probably one of the best bass lines he's ever written. I still don't know why I said you people. That was really fucking stupid. But from what I heard, this album did pretty well for a kind of an album released in the grunge era, which is pretty cool. And it's a solid classic rock album. I like it. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna put Power Window up next. So Power Window is it's kind of like a continuation of Grace Under Pressure, which we'll get to that later. I'd say every song on this album is a solid, I don't know, at least a solid 8, maybe 8.5. Of course, songs like The Big Money and Marathon, maybe? Marathon was really good. And, let me think here. Gotta think here. Not really. Fuck. Oh yeah, Middletown Dreamers was pretty good. Manhattan Project, Grand Designs, Territories, all good songs. But my favorite is probably The Big Money. This album is definitely worth checking out, but I think Grace Under Pressure kind of overshadows it. It's I think it's a lot better, at least. It has the same feel to it, but I think it has more solid songs. But definitely worth checking out. All these albums are worth checking out, with the exception of Feedback, if you don't like any of the songs that they cover, or maybe the self-titled. Just want to mention that. All the songs here are good. Okay, from now on, this list is going to be really hard, because these are all S tiers. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, this isn't an S tier, this is fucking weird. But no, this is a really good album, and I think we'll... Alright, I guess we're gonna have to put this one up at the first S tier. Actually, okay, whatever. This is the kind of first prog album that Rush released. I think a lot of the reason why people kind of forget this album or hate on it is because it is way too ambitious. It wants to be like a crazy, prog album, like something like maybe Hemispheres or 2112. But they're not really there yet. And that's okay. They kind of perfected that with 2112, which I think is the next album. Yeah. I don't know. I really, really like The Necromancer and Bastille Day. I fucking hope I'm saying that right. I can't pronounce some of these more, I don't know, songs, but yeah, so The Necromancer is absolutely amazing. It is like top, I don't know. It's one of their best. It's one of their best epics, at least. I don't know. I love The Necromancer. I think my opinions on this album are kind of slightly, I guess, because of The Necromancer. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say here. Every song on this album is pretty good, although I think I'm Going Bald is kind of a, I don't know. It's just, there's something about it that I didn't really like. The Fountain of, I'm not even gonna try. It's like the first real prog epic that they released. It's like 20 minutes long. It's kind of a little too ambitious, but they perfected prog like an album later. But it's a good kind of stepping stone for kind of the later prog rock they would release. It's an important album. Sorry. But I can see why a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's one of their best. Alright, next is gonna be Fly By Night. Fly By Night is the first, in my opinion, the first real Rush album. I don't really include the self-titled one like I said before. I think some of the better tracks on this album are Anthem, Best I Can, By Tor and the Snow Dog, Fly By Night, Making Memories. I don't know why I like this one so much, but Rivendell is pretty cool. But I definitely say the two best songs are Anthem and By Tor and the Snow Dog. Also, Fly By Night's really good. I'm gonna have to throw that one in there. By Tor and the Snow Dog is a kind of early prog song that they released. It's not as long as something like 2112 or Hemispheres or gotta think. I'm actually kind of realizing that they haven't really released any or too many 20-minute songs. They're mostly like 10, 15 minutes, but it's not as long as those. I think it's like 8 minutes, but it's kind of cool. It's like a kind of guitar. It's like I guess a guitar battle between Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, with Geddy Lee of course on bass and Alex Lifeson on the guitar. I think Geddy Lee is supposed to play kind of the like the I guess like the villain. He's by Tor, and Alex is the Snow Dog. It's kind of cool. There's some nice kind of distortion effects on the bass there. Pretty cool song. Sort of like some of the songs on the Caress of Steel, sorry. It's kind of like an early prog stepping stone for them, but not bad. Pretty good album. Alright, let's see what's next. I'm gonna have to put... Okay, this is really tough. Okay, I'm gonna put... Okay, this is gonna be kind of controversial, but... You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna put Clockwork Angels up next. This is the last Rush album ever recorded. Kind of sad. This is the one and only concept album they've released. They've released some, kind of... I guess you can say epics. I mean, that's what they are. I don't know why I was having so much trouble figuring that out. That was fucking stupid. But they've released plenty of prog epics, but they've never released an actual concept album. Except for Clockwork Angels, which is pretty cool. I really liked Caravan. BU2B? Is that how it's said? I don't fucking know. Clockwork Angels, The Anarchist, The Wreckers, which is pretty cool because Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson switched instruments for the writing process of that song, and then when it came to record, they played what the other person wrote for them. And of course The Garden, which is from what I can remember, the final Rush song ever recorded. It's kind of sad, but all around amazing album, and I think there's there's 2 books and a graphic novel to go along with it, so there's plenty of stuff for this album. So this might be their most ambitious album, in my opinion at least. Not necessarily their best, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, it has a lot of stuff going along with it, the comics, the books, and of course the music. So yeah, definitely one of their best albums. So okay, this is where kind of might be a little controversial. Moving Pictures. Now most people would call this the perfect Rush album, and I can agree. This is a really good album. It's perfect, but all the songs are kind of I guess more radio friendly, and of course that's kind of how it is for something like Signals or Grace Under Pressure. But these songs feel, I don't know, like they were kind of made for the radio. Like something like Tom Sawyer, which still kind of contains prog elements, the really weird time signature, the pretty cool drum solo towards the middle of the song. But it's more radio friendly, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm assuming everybody here has listened to this. In case you haven't, though, some of the highlights would be Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, I don't know. YYZ, Limelight, and Vital Signs. I think my favorite would probably be YYZ or Vital Signs. All around a solid album. I would say it's probably not the best kind of synth radio friendly era Rush album, but it's up there, top 3. So yeah. Next is gonna be Grace Under Pressure. This is the kind of better moving pictures, I guess. This is kind of, it's more of an extension of Signals. This is the most, I think this is the most radio friendly kind of Rush ever got, which is not bad at all. Some of their best songs are on Grace Under Pressure and Signals. I would say some of the standout moments of the album would be Distant Early Warning, Affirmage, Red Sector A, The Enemy Within, The Body Electric, and Kid Gloves. That's like, wow. That's like fucking 80% of the album. I think my favorite would have to be The Enemy Within, or maybe Distant Early Warning, or The Body Electric. The Body Electric has a sort of a new wave feel to it. There's another genre of music. I think it's called ska, ska, which I think kind of influenced that song. The Body Electric is also cool. It has as the chorus 1001, which is binary code for I, which was inspired by the book Anthem, which I actually read a couple weeks ago. It's amazing. And I think Neil was inspired by that whenever he wrote 2112. And of course this song. So all around a solid album. However, Signals, which is the album before it, I think is just a little bit better. Mainly because of the first track, Subdivisions, which is, I think, like top 3 Rush, in my opinion. That might be their, I don't know, that's one of their best songs. That's easily the best kind of synth era song they have. Of course, there's also some pretty good tracks on the album, like The Analog Kid, Digital Man, The Weapon, New World Man, Countdown, Chemistry. Every song on this album is amazing. Of course, Subdivisions is like one of my all-time favorite songs, so I kind of put that a lot above everything else. Digital Man has one of Rush's best bass lines and one of their most complex, or not necessarily complex, just hard to play. But yeah, Subdivisions is amazing. If for some reason you haven't heard it, please check it out. It's so good. But definitely an album worth checking out. I would listen to them I listened to these two at the same time because they're really similar. All right, top 4. 2112. 2112 has the one of the best prog epics that they've done. One of the only that's around 10 minutes, or not 10, 20 minutes long. I think it's 21, I think. I would say that's the highlight of the whole album. Every other song on it is pretty good, but there's nothing that compares to 2112. It's just so ambitious, so just it's amazing. It's great. I think I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I genuinely get like upset at the I think it's the kind of the 4th or 5th part. I think it's 5th. Oracle the Dream. I get like all teared up when I hear that part for some reason. The other half isn't nearly as strong, but all of them are pretty good. Except I haven't really listened to Something for Nothing in a while, so I can't really tell you about that one. But every other song is really good. But 2112, the title track, is much better. Okay, so these last 3 are really tough, but A Farewell to Kings is the number 3 pick. Also, this is a really long video, so yeah, sorry. Okay, so let's get into this. This album has a sort of old feel to it, I guess I don't know, some of the stuff like, I think it's pronounced Madrigal. I probably said that wrong. I'm really not good at pronouncing shit, but, has sort of an old, I guess, kind of feel from, like, kind of Dark Age times. The whole album has a kind of feel like that, especially songs like A Farewell to Kings and Closer to the Heart. But this has the first part of the greatest epic they've done, Cygnus X1. This is part one, The Voyage, or book one, um, which is my second favorite part. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I'd say the kind of standout moments of this are Farewell to Kings, Xanadu, Closer to the Heart, Cinderella Man, and Cygnus X1. Although Madrigal, I guess I'm saying it wrong probably, is a pretty good song though. But yeah, those five are all perfect. But I don't like that one as much as the other five. Okay. Number two. Permanent Waves. This is the first Rush album I got. My dad bought a bunch of Rush albums a long time ago. Bunch of vinyl Rush albums. I should probably kind of mention, but he was gonna give them to his friend who is a Rush fan, but I don't know. I don't think he ended up doing that. Well, obviously he didn't. So, yeah. This is the first Rush album I got. From like the minute I played this, for me, music just changed. I don't even know. This album is so special to me. I don't know. I think Free Will was the second Rush song I ever heard, with Tom Sawyer obviously being the first. I think that's how it is for everybody. But yeah, The Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Jacob's Ladder, which is my favorite. It's sort of like an instrumental, so I'll just call it that. It's I think my all-time favorite Rush instrumental. I'm not gonna say that because it's in French, and you know, kind of fun fact, I'm learning French, so maybe I'll pronounce it later. Different Strings, and of course Natural Science, which is one of the last prog epics they've made. I think the real last was The Camera Eye from Moving Pictures. This album is really special to me. This is one of the first albums I've listened to from start to finish. In 2021. It's kind of crazy all the stuff I don't think it was one of the first I've listened to from start to finish, but it's crazy all the shit I've listened to from the time I listened to this to, now. This album is so cool. It is perfect. These last two albums are amazing. They are so good. I could listen to these anytime, any day, anywhere, and I'm never going to enjoy them any less. Okay, here we go. Number one, Hemispheres. This album is quite literally the greatest album ever made. There is no album even remotely close to this, and I'm going to explain why. This might be the longest kind of I guess segment or whatever for any album, because I'm going to go into detail about everything. So let's start off with the title track, which is the continuation of Cygnus X1. This is Book 2, Hemispheres. So Part 1 is about an explorer, in Farewell to Kings, I should probably mention. We did talk about that a bit ago, but it is about an explorer flying a rocket ship or a spaceship into a black hole and getting fucking ripped to pieces. And Part 2 is about two gods, Apollo and Dionysus, kind of fighting over who, I guess, rules the kind of people in the world. Apollo tries to rule the people with knowledge, because I believe Apollo's the god of wisdom and music. But they turn to Dionysus so they can see how he rolls, I guess. I'm going to be honest with you, whenever I kind of heard this, I never really found anything wrong with Apollo. Only thing I could say that's wrong is maybe the people kind of felt disconnected and kind of, not, I don't know the right word, but I never thought, I never thought Apollo was necessarily as bad as Dionysus, who, Dionysus is the god of love. And for Apollo, the people, build cities, and they, live kind of, safe, comfortable lives. And Dionysus gives the people love, and they leave the cities and they move to the forests, and everything is okay till winter, where they, I guess, are attacked by wolves and they starve. And what ends up happening is, I guess, the two sides kind of fight, and at some point, Cygnus, or the Explorer from part 1, appears in spirit form, and they kind of, as they say in the song, hear his silent scream, and they kind of realize he's there, and they kind of realize that instead of fighting who rolls the rolls, they work together, and they name the Explorer Cygnus the god of balance. This is such a good song. It is not, there's not a second of filler, and it's 20 minutes long. I was whenever I first saw this song, I was kind of freaked out by how long it was, but it just goes by so quickly. It's amazing. Another thing that's really cool is the art. The way I interpreted the art is this being Dionysus, this being Apollo, and this being Cygnus, the kind of brain. But not necessarily a traditional god like these guys are. He's more of the glue, kind of binding them together, uniting heart and mind. And another way to look at it is they kind of each represent a member of the band. That one might be kind of a stretch, but the way I interpreted it was interpreted. I said it really weird, but the way I interpreted it was Geddy Lee being Apollo, Alex Lifeson being Dionysus, and Neil Peart being, I think that's how you say it, Peart. I can remember them doing an interview and saying it like that. If I said it wrong, please correct me. But Neil being Cygnus, because they were, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson were kind of the earliest members who were, still in the band, and Neil joined and kind of, I don't know. That's just the way I interpreted it. So that's just the first track. Next is Circumstances. Circumstances is a pretty cool kind of hard rock song. I like it. The bass line on that song is surprisingly complex. But yeah, pretty cool. Or not necessarily, sort of like Digital Man. It's not necessarily complex, just kind of hard to play. But yeah, Circumstances is amazing. The Trees is about two, I guess, types of trees. I think oaks and maples. And they're fighting over one being too tall and one not getting enough shade. And I think in the end, they're both equal by, as they say in the song, hatchet, axe, and saw. This is, I think, from what I've read, this is kind of, I think it's called objectivism. It's kind of based off of the philosophy of, I believe her name is Ayn Rand, I think. I'm going to have to look this up because this is something I should know. Yeah, Ayn Rand. And she is a Russian-American writer. She was the one who wrote Anthem, and we talked about that kind of earlier for The Body Electric. But around the time when this was written, Neil was heavily inspired by her books and her philosophy. And next is, oh god, I'm gonna say this wrong, La Villa Strangiato. And from what the band has said, this one song took them longer than Fly By Night, like the whole album. This is amazing. I think if we're talking, technically, this is probably their best instrumental. I just like Jacob's Ladder a little bit better. And this tells a story of, I think, a nightmare Alex Lifeson had. It's amazing. The complexity of this song is just, it's crazy. It's pretty much unmatched by every other Rush instrumental. While I like Jacob's Ladder, it's not even, well, first off, it's not really an instrumental, and second off, it's not all that complex. I mean, the bass line at least, I can't speak, holy shit. It's fairly easy to play. Um, but this is just on a completely different level. It is absolutely insane. Um, One final thing I want to say is that this is probably one of their shorter albums. However, this album is perfect in every way. Um, it's not too short. It's not too long. It kind of has something for everyone. It has a prog epic, a hard rock song, kind of a more radio friendly rock song, and an amazing instrumental, which really it showcases their kind of technical abilities pretty well. So if there was one Rush album that I would recommend you guys listen to, if I had to suggest one, it would be Hemispheres. This is so amazing. This is perfect album, greatest of all time. Not just Rush. This is the greatest album ever recorded. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you try to tell me about, oh, how the Beatles are so great, or how one of your, I don't know, one album is better than this. It's not even gonna make any sense, because this is perfect. This is the perfect album in every way. Yeah, I kind of went on about Hemispheres for a while. I think this video is, wow, this video is 40 minutes long. This is gonna be the longest video I ever upload, but it's okay. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna make a video right after this talking about school. Actually, no, maybe I'll make it tomorrow. It'll be the video right after this on the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, hello, thank you. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this whole video, but if you do, cool. See you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.